drug dealer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that.
So for an application launch, and this is maybe one of those how long is the string questions, but what is that critical mass, or what is that growth rate at which you go to a VC or to an angel and you show that to them and they say, wow, now that's got my attention, as opposed to going in with an idea, they're like, great idea, come back when you guys are hot. How far, now I've been advised, go as far as you can down the road before you go ask for money?
I think that's right.
What is that?
Yeah, so, well, I would say, yeah, I think beyond that, I would say keep going until you really need it, first of all. I know that's kind of...
You don't want to go desperate.
You don't want to, no, absolutely not. In fact, I mean, 99.9% of companies shouldn't take venture money in the first place, for both our sanity. I would say that, it kind of depends on the user base that you're collecting and what you're really building. So Mint, because I think is a great example of each user that they're collecting is really probably sticky, I'm guessing. But the amount of data that comes with the registered user that's actually engaged is so much more valuable than the person that goes and tweets once and then goes away. I mean, so, I think it's hard. I don't think you can say a hard and fast rule, you get 500,000 in 3 months. It matters on what the value of each customer is and how sticky that is and how you'll be able to monetize them over time or how there's strategic value to potential acquire for that person. But I think what you want to show is that there's this natural viral growth that people are, word of mouth or other kind of built-in sharing functionality like Zynga with social poker and things like that there's natural growth and it's going to grow on its own. And I think if you can show that with confidence and that it's not just some early adopters and you're kind of branching out, it's case by case, but that's the story of me.
Brent, being an incubator is a little bit like, taking angel investing. Where are you guys at with some of the people you've brought in and where have they been? Because I know as an example, the solar guys, the product wasn't there. It was a drawing and some electrons, right? So.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of it's hard for me to even stereotype anything just because we work with companies that are so widely different. We've got companies that actually have venture funding. A lot of those are companies that are technologies actually out of universities, and they've been commercialized. So those are actually advanced engineering and medical device. Two of the companies received money through the Texas Emerging Technology Fund, which is a venture fund run by the state of Texas, and that is available for any kind of what they qualify as an emerging technology.
So could you elaborate on that? Because I think that's a worthwhile resource we haven't discussed. Could you talk about that funding?
Yeah, it's actually it's kind of interesting. They started out calling it emerging. They were called grants, but they were taking equity. But the government's always a little confused. But what it is they've actually got there's two different kinds of emerging technology funding. There's the pre-seed, which they allocate, I think it's $250,000 if you're awarded, and then they'll reserve another $750,000 that you can get as you hit other milestones. So it's actually a full $1 million in funding. And then they have which is the standard emerging technology fund, which is anywhere from $1 million up to, I think they've done just over $5 million. I'd have to go back and look, but
those are the healthcare, this cancer ones,
right? Right. And then, well, there's actually they have new cancer grants, but that may not apply here. But actually, they are giving some of those grants to software related to finding cures and treatments for cancer. So if anybody's working on that, go after it. It works. They divide the state up regionally. There's the North Texas Regional Center for Innovation and Commercialization. You can find them by going to ntxrcic.org. They have some really nice forms. You'll love commercial. Real easy to find.
We can have a tiny URL for that.
They're not even really government, so.
Right. Can you repeat that URL?
Yeah. Is this a quiz? You'll get a free T-shirt. For a free T-shirt, ntxrcic.org, and they have applications. They have mentors that you can work with, and they'll coach you. And you do what they call a quick pitch, which is a 15-minute presentation to a group of volunteer evaluators. So sometimes you get what you pay for, so just you have to be clear in communication. If you make it past that, you go to the full regional presentation. If you make it past that, you present to a board in Austin where they evaluate whether or not you will get funding. They present you with a standardized template form that says, we're going to give you this much, and we'll tell you later how much you have to give us. And they don't do any evaluation. Essentially what they have this nice little formula based on your next investment, because you have to get matching funds. So it's not just a one-time investment. You've got to have somebody lined up, or you've got to be able to leverage what you're doing with the state's money to go after more money. But you have a window of about 18 months to go find a matching investment from an outside party. You can't be from your mom. And then based on that evaluation with that VC or angel, they will take stock, and they used to be non-voting stock, but now they've converted that to where they just vote with the majority, so they don't come out as a tiebreaker. So
There also should be a tie to university.
yeah, there's a tie. That you have to have some sort of relationship with a university in the state. That can be anything as tight as taking a technology developed in a university. It can be as loose as working with a marketing team from the business school. So it's pretty loose. What they want to, essentially, it's a little bit political, and I don't know on camera. But the money
We'll be starting a study tomorrow.
the money that funds the ETF came from funds that used to go to universities for research.
So I think it's a great, especially if you have angels and you got a product, it's a great potential catalyst and accelerator because you get the matching funds.